So, are these going to be 1/8 or are they going to be something else? Oh yeah, they're big. 1/8. These are the biggest ones I got. So 1/8 will allow you to take out 3.6 thousandths.
Oh wow.
36.
Well, if we go up another 1.5 like you said, then we're already 1.5 over, so that's the 3 thou right there.
He's got to hold this thing out over 1 thou. If we got this style bearing. See, this one has more bearings. There's more bearings.
Yeah. I also like the older cage style too.
Yeah, but this goes on without this washer. The washer we had to modify, the fly was made wrong.
Yeah.
It's made to go in there.
It's flush too. Shit.
There it is. I think you still got to use a washer because the shaft is longer. The shaft isn't made for the late Evo bearings. Nope, it'll work. The washer here. Nope, didn't even take a washer. That just goes in loose. Just float around in there. See, if you look at where the roller is going to be, it's going to be over the big edge here. And if you get that 50 thou washers I had out, then you could probably put the 50 thou washer in there. No, it still wouldn't be enough. Wouldn't be enough for the snap ring in there. So this here would roll off the edge of the roller, off the end of the shaft. This would be all the way past that point. But it could fluctuate out until it got to here. If it was way out here, it'd probably be right on the edge. That's just how they make them. You can't even buy these anymore. The new rollers are all one piece. Yeah, instead of 2 cages, 1 cage. You can take out 1 more roller. See, I took out 1 from this, and when you go to the next one, they take out 1 more. So now you got 2 less than this one. That's why I like using these ones.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Which path forward should we take using those?
I like this, but to replace this. No, we still don't know if this is good until we hone it a little bit. But I can hone that out quite a bit and use this roller, or I can hone that just a little bit and use this other one, which was a 1.3.
I think I'd rather use the older style and then press this out. Just put a new one in there, so we don't have to worry about
issues.
Yeah.
So I like doing it.
And mix matching parts and shit.
But if you're cheap, you can fix it with this.
I mean, if you do it right, you should only have to do it right the first time.
Unless I ride it.
Well, that's different. You're riding in with the purpose of destroying it.
My break-in mileage is it breaks.
Your brake.
That's the break. It break it. There you have it.
Your brake mileage. That's what it is.
Somewhere between 0 and the first 3 miles. If it makes it past that, it's probably good for a while. But it's got to make it through that first 3 or 4 miles.
It's not the wear in mile. It's the wear out.
If you get 2 to 3 passes on the motor, it's good. It's a good one. You should be able to get at least 5 or 10 then. But most of the time, you just let's go on the first one. And, it's not a good motor.
On to the next.
Build it again. Alright, so we got to replace this. Now, S&S for some reason decided not to make this crank straight all the way across. So we cannot use the stock washer on there. See, it doesn't go in there. So we had to have the new Ace machinist here cut this out at a taper. What do you use? 5 degree taper?
4
degree taper. And then we got it to where we sized it because this was a little bit tight on there. And then we came back and put another chamfer at about 40 degree angle. And I don't know how much you cut off that time. And now you got where it sits in there flat now, like it's supposed to, and there's no up and down in it either, which is good. So we had to make that because S&S made the flow wrong. Now we're assuming we can use these cages. We haven't checked yet. Maybe these don't fit on this motor.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, look at that. Oh, look at that. It's like it's made for it. Yeah, just right there.
It's perfect.
We can either use the new style clip here, the big thick one, or we can use the one that came out of it over here, the spiral lock that I like. That's why we have a washer. It takes the load off the clip.
Mm.
See the big thick one there? It's made to run against the cage. This kind of crap. It's made for these. There's no washer. You just run, this runs out on a snap ring. Stupid design.
Yeah, if the washer takes the load off of the ring, then might as well use this one. This one looks like it.
Mm-hmm. You know, they still wear, but not as much. Yeah. Alright, so that all checks out. That all works. Just gotta make sure we use this washer in the right spot, in the right direction. Okay, so we need to get rid of this. Do that. We gotta figure out if we're gonna work on that cam cover or not. So this is the temporary cam that we might use. Unless you decide to go to a big one later. Nice and clean. Don't hold on the lobes. Makes it rust. It sounds pretty tight. There, put it in the seal, tightens it up, right? Now, what you really want to know how loose it is you push on it side to side when it's all the way down. If you get clearance that way, then it's definitely loose. But it helps to get the seal out of there. Does somebody still steal our tools? We don't have any tools right now. Got to make do with what I got.
Yeah.
You like my new hammer?
And it worked.
It's called the workbench. Look at that nice. It's almost no wear marks in there.
Too bad it's too big.
I don't know yet. Sounds loose.
Sounds like it's too big, yeah.
Might be out of round too. Hear that?
Yeah, it definitely is out around.
We're not rocking it, we're pushing down and going clearance. So if you can hear it, it's loose. Doing the jiggle test doesn't always tell you how loose the bushings are. You can have a lot of jiggle and be tight bushings because the bushings might be curved.
Yeah.
Because they didn't cut them right. I've had that problem before. Alright, so I'm thinking this is worn. Where'd the box go? Where'd my box?
Underneath.
Oh, shit. Right there. Box thief. See, don't touch the lobes, they don't rust. Don't touch the shelves, they don't rust. You can touch the gear, we don't care if it rusts, it doesn't hurt much. Okay, so we know what that is. So we know that's bad. Now we got the other bushing. What do you think?
Yeah, both are bad.
And then maybe that's like matches. Match set.
Or the tool. Oh, tools are back.
Tools are back. We have a hammer again? Oh, geez. There's extra tools.
Hi guys,
Oh, geez.
Tatro Jr. here.
Who is it?
It's my dad.
Yeah, right.
Taught me everything I know about Harleys.
That'd take about 5 seconds. Alright, we'll be back. That's how old it is. It's a Gary Bang part.
Never heard of that.
Because they sold everything out in the mid-90s. So that means it's before it's mid-90s on back. You always put dates on his tag, but it's underneath the V-twin thing here. It's going to be from the, it's going to just be from the 90s. The good part was it's probably Jim's part, 'cause they used a lot of Jim stuff back then. Even though they weren't marked. Alright, let's see if it's any better than what yours is. Appears to be a little tighter already.
Oh.
You have to show the camera.
I mean, yeah, definitely feels a little tighter.
You're about halfway. Yeah, so floppy it is.
Mm-hmm.
Difference?
Looks like it's almost the same. Yeah, it feels the same to me.
A lot tighter. Lot tighter. This isn't even pressed in.
Yeah, you're right.
This isn't even pressed in yet.
You could see it when you look at it. That one's oval shaped.
433. 429. Yeah, it's pretty close. Fourth out different. Yeah, it's about the same.
It's about the same.
Your feeling tolerances are a little off. You're out of spec.
Hey, there's play in your fingers when you're holding it.
There's a lot of play to figures. See, I go in all the way and it's looser than this one. You went in just a little bit. Only in that far. This one you're going all the way in. Just looser. Alright, so I'll try to get that out of there somehow. Not sure how you can get those out of there. Yeah, it's not normally something you take out.
It'd have to be pressed out.
Yeah, somehow.
This way. Getting in there and then starting it at least until it clears and then continuing it this way.
Maybe. Or you put like a bolt in there, thread it, put a bolt in there, and
Oh,
try to
pull it
pull
out,
the
yeah.
bolt out. Especially when you put it on like end of a slide hammer, pop it right out. Assume we got anything like that laying around here. So we got laying around here. Looks like it might be slide hammer. One with a screw on it. Used to have another one floating around someplace.
You have another bag of munchies.
Good luck these here. September 2020.
Oh, it's still good. There's air in the bag.
Still good. See, we got a thread here. Is that big enough to pull it?
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Oh yeah, that'll grab a hold of it. Won't be much left, but it'll grab it. That's a little bit smaller, but this is probably ½ inch, I'm guessing. Yep. We got less than ½ inch. That one up there looks smaller.
You're at like 15, 16?
It's fine thread. ½ inch. That one up there is really small, probably too small.
The slide on it, what, it's like a two pounder?
That's too small. It's like 3/8. It'll fall right through. It's probably metric. Yeah, looks like that's it's got to be ½ inch. Or we'll have to do something different. You can put a bolt in there, a stud, piece of old thread, and just tighten nuts down. Tighten the nuts and it'll pull right out. That works too. Lots of different ways of doing things. It's 433, so it's 7/16, so you'd have to use a metric size deal. ½ inch would be just fine. 7/16 is Tatro for ½ inch, so it'll work. All right. So you got 2 screws in there.
That didn't fit.
This doesn't fit.
Too wide.
Too big?
Yeah.
Too heavy duty? So you can't use cheap tools? Where's my tool bucket way down there? So I use my special cut down one here. Carburetors. It's been ground radiusly so it goes inside of a round hole to pull out jets. It also fits down in these little small holes. I don't know how tight is the screw going to be.
Hopefully it's not Loctited in there.
It looks like that screw is completely wasted. Here's how tight it is.
Really?
Yeah, it's tight coming past the bad threads, but it ain't tight in the hole.
Yeah.
You're over there doing wheelies already on the bike. Trying to. But this one is going to be tight too.
Probably not.
Oh, is that tight? There, I tightened it.
Wow. So now when you reinstall the new one, is it going to be, you're going to Loctite it or no?
Maybe I'll tighten the screws down.
Or just, yeah.
I never Loctited these, never had to. I'm thinking they just didn't Loctite them in there very well. I mean, they didn't tighten them. The top of the threads were kind of screwed up. The screwdriver was too big they were trying to use. So I'm thinking they thought the screw was tight and it wasn't. Be my guess.
Instead they were just marring the threads.
Yeah, pretty much. These keep rolling away. Yeah, put them over there. Hey, that didn't fall out though. That's good. Okay, so I got to press this one out. Press this one in. This has the grooves in there for the set screws. They also make these without the set screws. And then they make one that has the big groove all the way around for later bikes.
Mm.
When we use them on these bikes, it has a big, you cut down half your holding power in the case. It's not very tight, which is not good. Too small? Too small. Boom, I like that one. Okay, so to push it in nice and even. This is a special tool made for taking them out. Cutaway to match the case, cutaway. See right there.
Oh yeah.
Almost like it was made for it.
Custom.
Custom. Okay, what else do we need? We're going to support the case or just push on like I normally do? If you want to support the case, you use this. Usually just push on the case. Be good. Alright, how tight it's going to be. Oh. Oh. It's not a good sign. I think I pressed into 2 because it's really in the case. We'll see. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yep. This wasn't cut out enough for these applications yet. See. So why is it so tight? Now, if you want to know if it was moving in the case, see all the shiny marks in there?
So it's rotating.
It's moving around. It's a good thing the screws are in there, even if they weren't tight. You see how shiny it is.
Oh shit.
That means it's moving around. It was not tight. That's not good for alignment. What about your Timken case braces all loose too in there?
Yeah.
Probably ate the case out on this side also. One side will take out the other. This didn't take out that, the Timken took out this side. That's probably why the screws were loose, because the race is walking back and forth and it made the screws loose. Alright, so now we got a new problem. More than likely,
That's worn out.
it's going to be loose. So you make sure you line up the holes with the go in there. So you got the 2 grooves there. And then you got the oil hole over here, which is, I always like lining up. I care more about that than the grooves over here. Okay, now let's see how tight this really going to be.
Hopefully tight enough.
Probably not. But I can Loctite it if it is. That's pretty good. So we're going to put some sleeve retainer on that. So I'll be right back.